Welcome, everyone who's listening to this interview. It's one of many in our Inspiring Authors series, which you can find on our blog at www.coachlineaccreditation.services. Now, this series is ideal for practitioners who want to add a book to their business strategy because our guests share not only their writing and publishing story, but also how having a book upscaled their business. My name is Julie Kennedy, and I am your IAPC&M host based in the Netherlands. And my guest today is author Hulya Kurt, author of Break Free from Your Hamster Wheel. Welcome, Hulya.
Thank you very much, Julie.
Wonderful to have you here. First of all, congratulations, because so many of us talk about books, dream about books, and somehow along the way, it's not for nothing that the club that you now belong to is called the 3% Club, as there is only an incredibly small amount of us who actually make it through. So, it is a huge achievement. I imagine that it was, how did it feel when you first held that book in your hands?
Oh my God, it was so amazing. I can't even explain or describe the emotions that you have. It's like giving birth to a child,
right,
actually, because
right.
it's your little baby. And you think, did I wrote this? Really?
Yes.
It's rewarding, it's emotional, it's overwhelming, it's happiness, tears in your
Pride, I
eyes.
imagine, right?
Yeah,
Pride.
pride
You've
as
done
well.
it.
I did it. And you're like, I did it. It's out. It's on Amazon. It's available. People can buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, that's what we're all aspiring for. So, basically, how did you do it, Hulya? That's basically what it's all about. Tell us, share your tips. How did you make? Have you always wanted to write a book?
You know what? Actually, no, it was never on my mind. But then as I went into entrepreneurship and then also following different entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and the people, seeing that they are writing books, I said, you know what? I've got also lots to share. And I would really like to write a book one day. That was one thing, one day. Yes. And then what came out, and this is again an initiative from the IAPC&M or from Don Campbell and Ruby McGuire. They launched and said, this is a workshop, how to write a book in 90 days. And I said, you know what? I could not even ask for more from the universe. So immediately I signed up, right? And we started beginning of September last year. And every week we had our calls. And it was really nice combination between the practical tips and then guest speakers from different areas and how to write a book, how to hold yourself accountable, some tools, etc. So that helped me enormously. And also having that wonderful, not having that pressure on yourself. It was this big elephant, writing a book, right?
Yes.
Putting into pieces, like every week, we all were committed to write 2,000 words.
Aha.
So that helped a lot as well. Mind me, the first 2,000 words, you know what? I was like in front of the computer. Can you imagine? In front of the computer and, okay.
Yeah.
How do I start? Where do I start? What do I write? How do I start? And I'm getting up, getting a coffee, sitting down again, and then blank.
Yeah, deciding to go and wash the windows or whatever, anything else.
Do something else, right? Do something else. And I said, God's sake, just start writing. And this is the best that I can give as well. Don't overthink. Get it from your heart, what you want to share. And it doesn't even need to be in a sequence. That's also what has been taught to us in this workshop. It could be one chapter, another chapter. Sometimes your mind wanders off saying, oh, I want to talk about this first. And then oh no, I've got another experience. And then afterwards you can combine and put it in a sequence with the chapters, etc. But the first thing is to just get the words out on the computer. Right?
Well, that's a very good tip to start with.
Yeah. And don't overthink like, oh, it needs to be the right grammar. Oh my God, which word shall I use? Just write. It's you. It's your voice.
Yes.
That book is my voice.
Yes. Yes. So if I understand well, that the first driver that you had was that, you saw other people out there writing books. The idea then, if I understand well, it gives you credibility, right? It gives you, Yeah, and I can imagine that for us personally as well, you know, as coaches, we have loads of ideas, we have a program, or we have expertise that we want to share, etc. But also a book, I suppose, really enables you to crystallize all of that, you know, to condense it into something that you can actually pick up and look at.
Yeah, actually, you know what, this is correct, Julie, because I've got a signature program myself,
Right.
Drive and Thrive Your Career. So it's a combination of Drive and Thrive Your Career with some sheets and worksheets. It's a real workbook as well.
Okay.
Plus, as well, the mindset, because this is where
Okay.
it starts. And also combination with neuro-linguistic programming and my own stories. How did I start? And I really started that book from the perspective of a career professional who starts so excited,
Yes.
moves up the ladders, wonderful, then comes to a space and phase of stagnation, doesn't
Right.
even realize because it's still okay. But then after a while, thinking and stepping back and saying, oops, no one rewards me anymore. No one sees me anymore.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you've got responsibilities. You might have a partner, mortgage, I don't know what, you know, there's a lot which comes on our plate in the mid of the 30s, but you don't feel fulfilled. And this is the hamster wheel where you run and can't get out. And at that stage, I really explained that. Then we move into decision.
Right.
What is your decision? So reflection questions. Think about it, because we never take time in our busy life to reflect. So it really pings you, kicks you, nudges you to say, hey, what do I want? Do I want to stay in the company? Do I want to stay in the company but move somewhere else?
Yeah.
Do I want to change industry? Or do I want to become an entrepreneur? And then we take it one by one. Action plan, practical things, asking for help, networking, you name it. It's the whole shebang about how you can create an action plan to get out of it.
But you were actually quite clear already from the beginning on what you wanted your book to be on, right? You had your signature program. You wanted to add in your expertise, your experience, all of that, combine it together. So you were always clear on what you wanted to write out, because I dare say some authors have either, or some coaches have either got too many ideas and sort of spend most time zooming from one to another. At least, so you were clear on what you wanted to write on. So if I'm talking about looking for tips and inspiration for us, I certainly hear you say that the value is huge in taking one of these guided journeys like you experienced with Dawn and Ruby, right?
Oh, absolutely. That helped a lot. And they put us also in contact with publishers who started to know, because they were guest speakers. So I got inspired. You've got some names as well, because one thing is the writing.
Yes.
This is nothing. Honestly, you know, the journey starts after you wrote your book, right? Yeah. Then to find a publisher who accepts your book and all that stuff, right? And then the correct editor and how to publish it. As a first-time author, I have not even thought about self-publishing. I know it's cheaper, sometimes people, but I wanted to have a real good experience for myself to understand how it works.
So,
absolutely.
Because what you say is so very true. I mean, some people are daunted by the writing side of it. Others, that's just the piece of cake anyway. You know, they know what they know and they just need to get it down, and if anything, simplify it, etc. But then there's that technical side, which I know some of us, me for example in particular, particularly daunted by, like, oh my goodness, you know, I don't know the first thing about editing or self-publishing, etc. So which route did you take?
Well, I went for a publisher. Right. So first, what you do, you write your book and you edit the first time around yourself, because you need to read it. Then what you do, you just bounce it off to a publisher. I really worked with a publisher, and Sam Pierce, she's absolutely amazing.
Oh, Sam Pierce, yes, I interviewed her for International Coaching Week. Okay.
Yes, she made my life so easy, you can't imagine. We had 2-3, calls. She understood what I wanted, right? Really, exactly. So we have got really an intake session, a deep intake session. And from there onwards, the editor contacted me, and then I sent over the draft. He did some magic. He came back. I read it again. I did again some changes. I don't know how many times I really read my book. It was, I think, I know it inside out now. Yeah.
Do you ever get bored with your own book after a while?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. You're like, oh God, I can't believe, why do I need to read this again? But back forth. Well, I'm a doer as well. After the 5th time or so, I said, okay, that's done. In the meantime, what I also suggest is that you find some peers who can read your draft.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is what I did. And some of them came with interesting ideas, some other editing, suggestions, etc. That helps as well a lot.
So you mustn't be frightened of criticism, right? I mean, it's constructive feedback, of course, it's not criticism, but I can imagine, I mean, one of the things that I'm most in awe of with authors who get published like yourself is that, you're really putting yourself out there, right? People, whether it's friends and family or the whole world is going to make a judgment based on what they've seen. So, I mean, I suppose qua mindset, what sort of mindset did you have?
I think I've got the mindset of, you know what, I mean, there's so many books out there and it's one of mine who will give value. I was sure that it will give value to people. I never had a doubt. It might only address maybe one angle of the person's issues, challenges, but at the end of the day, it's valuable what you are writing. And that's what I believed in. Honestly,
I think that's a very important one, isn't it? And it's also that idea that, there is no failure. Even if there's only one person who reads it and gets inspired and whose life is changed, I would feel that I've done a good job.
Absolutely. And I never had that kind of, oh my God, if it's not even have sold on the market, I wrote this book.
Yes, indeed.
I'm proud of myself. I'm like, I did it.
But I think that's very important what you're saying there, that mindset that obviously, if you do become, rich, or even if you do sell it lots of times and all that, that's like an added value of it. But you've done it, first of all, for yourself, for that perseverance, right? I mean, how long did it take you in all, the whole process?
Well, the whole process, it took us about 9 months, the whole process, from writing to publishing, being on the market.
That's not that much.
Yeah, but some people really procrastinate. I wrote the book in 3 months. I'm done 27,000 words. Okay. Then immediately after Christmas, New Year, looking for some publishers, right, left, center, 2, 3 options. I said, no, I know Sam. Sam is great. So I went for Sam. And she made my life very easy. And then we started the editing. She had a nice project plan as well. We knew when we wanted to actually get it out in the market, what is my desire, my thinking, etc. And it was boom, 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 done, I mean, but maybe I'm a doer, and I don't overthink.
Yeah, and also I think you asked out for help, right? I mean, you not help, but I mean, you jumped on all these opportunities. You saw Dawn and Ruby's thing and you thought, okay, right, I've been thinking about this for ages, let's just do it. And so that then led on, and then you found a few publishers, but then thought, okay, no, Sam is great, why should I go looking elsewhere? Let's go with Sam. So I mean, I suppose there's also that attitude of not always doubting, but to actually be, to actually decide to really get it done, because there's always reasons that we can invent for ourselves of looking for cheaper, or is it going to be the right one, or am I making a mistake? It's having that clarity of mind, looking for what you need, but when you recognize it, to go with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Decisiveness. You know what? There's so many options out there. At the end of the day, we can only buy one car. At the end of the day, we can only have, I don't know, one TV, you go for it. You've got options. You've got what do you want? For me, it was essential that I need to have something which is professional. I'm not going into the self-publishing and then going and creating an Amazon account here and doing this and doing that. No. For me, it was important, professional, everything in one package from A to Z. I don't need to think about it. Amazon accounts opened, Ingram Spark opened, hard copies printed. I've got even the box
Sam
here.
Pierce does all of that?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
She manages.
Yeah.
And then Kindle version there. Awesome. Lovely. Everything that I want. I don't need anything else. Designers, because the cover is also important.
It's gorgeous as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that's my color. And I told Sam, you know what? I don't want to have any hamster wheel. I don't want to have any professional. I want to have something completely different. She works with designers, put it out like a bit, some designers came with options. And then with my son, we sat together and then we went through all the selections. We did a kind of pre-selection. And then from the 3, my son said, this is the good one, Mom. So we went for that.
And that's what you went with. Yeah, so I mean, there is a lot of value in you know, finding the right professionals for you and letting them cover the whole package. But then that does bring me to one aspect that maybe some of us have is the costs and the finance. I mean, did you finance this all yourself? Was it did you find sponsors, or how did you go about financing it?
Oh, well, I did finance it myself. That
Right.
was in my budget. Once you go for it, you know what? It should be, we would say in Turkish, we've got to say, when you go into the hammer, you will sweat.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Otherwise, you don't go in there. That's a
Exactly.
very good one.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
go for it. That's it.
Yes.
Done. That's the whole
Yeah.
shebang.
You
I
go for
mean,
it or
that's
you
it.
don't. I mean, there's no
Exactly.
point half going for it. That's not going to get you anywhere and get
No.
you very
Or don't
frustrated.
go. Oh, I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
easy,
It's a choice,
easy,
right?
easy, easy. Huh. Now I know the publishing process and what I would go do next time, trying the route of
Of
self-publishing.
self-publishing. But indeed, so your recommendation would be, and it does sort of somehow make very much sense with me, is to the first way round, you know, make your life easy, make sure you get this one already out, invest in the right people, invest in the right products, and learn from how it works that way. I mean, that is what I'm
Absolutely.
hearing you say.
Absolutely. Because now I've got an account on Amazon, so I can self-publish myself as well.
Right.
Now I've got an account in what she was calling Ingram Spark, something like that.
Yes,
Different
I heard
platforms
that as
there,
well.
yeah.
Yes.
To print my hard copies. So it's much easier now. I know the process,
It's
right?
already set up.
But Sam is always there for us. She always told me, if you want to go for the kind of partial self-publishing stuff, if you have any questions, you just let me know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you
Can I be
shall be
very
known.
bold and ask you how much it did cost you, or is that, I mean, we'll cut this out if you don't want to answer.
You know, honestly, I don't remember exactly the whole amount, but I
more
think
or
it
less?
was £3,500, more or
Okay.
less.
And that's the whole thing. That was, but also including so Dawn and Ruby's, and then
No,
Sam.
that's
No,
extra.
that's Sam. That's Sam, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
No,
only
just to
Sam.
get a bit of an idea, a picture, a sort of idea of where it is.
Including 100 hard copies.
Plus 100 hard copies. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now that's it. It's always good to have those hard questions, because it does enable us to, and money shouldn't be an issue. As you say, if you're going to go for it, you go for it. So get the money first, arrange it, borrow it or whatever, and then go with it.
Sponsor, credit, I don't know if you find, I mean, I was not even looking at that. There was something that I allocated to it. Whilst I was writing, because you need to think ahead a bit, you know, I started to write and I was like, so let me see, let's put something aside so that I can, when it's finished, I'm not even thinking of not publishing it.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because that's really important for me. I wanted to have this book out.
So that brings us to the next thing. So, okay, you've written it with the help of Ruby and Dawn. You've published it with the help of Sam Pierce. And then how do you get it out there? Because, okay, as you say, it's great you've done it already for you. You can say, I'm an author, and you can see it, hold it. But I mean, I dare say the intention is, in an ideal world, it's going to sell, and you've got a message to share to create value for others. So you want to get it out. What did you do from that point of view on marketing, social media? How did you promote it?
Well, you start promoting it whilst you start writing it.
Yeah.
You don't do it once it's out. So I was always on LinkedIn. Hey, I'm starting my new book here. Look at that, the first page. And I'd be, oh, are you going to, oh, interesting. She's writing a book. Okay. And then me, what do you think about challenges? I want to do an interview series for my book. A lot of people, you know, getting some insights about, is it really addressing the pain points as well? I did that before even
so you involved potential buyers, clients, and all of that.
Yes, and me reviewing. Now I'm in the editing process. Oh my goodness, I don't know how many times I have been looking at this. And then once, it's finished now. And everyone's like, oh, okay, stay tuned. I've got the title and all that stuff. So I'm on social media all the time. LinkedIn, Instagram, and also Facebook.
And it makes it live. It makes it interesting for the people around you to feel involved as well, in a way. You know, you're asking them for feedback.
Exactly. And they are following my journey as well, and how it came out. And apart from that, there's a lot, once you have got the book out, oh my God, Instagram, there are a lot of book reviewers now who are contacting me. Like, we would, very interesting. That's a different domain. I was not aware of this, but I've got on my phone about 50 people who contact me, would like to review your book. We're going to create, and read your posts and create posts and do this and do that. And you're like, oh my God, this is a whole industry out there
And
who's
this was
doing.
after you'd published, this was from seeing
Yes,
what you've got on Amazon, from seeing your messages on
yes,
LinkedIn and
yes,
all of that. So it's sort of
exactly.
run by itself. You didn't even look for them. They
No,
found you, or they looked
yes,
for
they
you. Yeah.
found me. I don't know where and how. By the way, also with Sam, there is another lady, and I forgot her name. Oh God, mind me, who helped me as well a bit with social marketing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a social marketing package as well for about
Okay.
1.5 months, where she created nice posts to get some buzz, and
Yeah.
me as well, I was doing. So this is how you do. You need to be out, and then wherever you go, have a copy of your
Oh,
book
yeah.
in
Yeah.
your bag,
Yeah.
because you go through all these networkings, these meetings, right? And then
Yeah.
immediately, and sometimes you just want to offer a book as a gift.
Yeah.
Do that as well, and that helps people spread the word.
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
No, so that's okay. So that all worked like that. Now, how long ago did you actually, when did your book come out?
June 15th.
June 15th. So I mean, have you already noticed any repercussion on your business?
Well,
I mean, June 15th is very soon. It's
yeah,
just
it's very
been,
soon,
yeah.
not at the moment as such, but indirectly people started to notice more,
Yep.
because it gives you credibility.
Yeah.
So I've got requests, podcast requests coming in, interview requests coming in.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, you've
yeah,
already just mentioned about all the people who want to write reviews on your book.
yeah.
I mean, that's already creating a whole, buzz around you, which is what we
Yeah.
need, right? If we want to get our
Yes,
message out there, we need a buzz. That's why we're
yes,
also doing the book, is to have something to offer, other people.
correct, correct. And then also, I mean, some of our peers, my peers who are working in corporates, made as well some advertisement for me. Use your network to do that. Ask them for reviews, ask for feedback.
Yes.
Testimonials are important. It's great to have that on social media.
Yeah.
And always don't shy away of not being on social media. Otherwise, no one would know that
Yeah.
you have written a book or that it's valuable or not.
Yeah, it's about helping others find us, right? It's not
Correct?
about, I think lots of us feel that, oh dear, but we don't want to be all out there glitzy, and I used to call it social prostitution, all the digital world. But I mean, where's the point of doing what you do if you want to help others if nobody can find you? So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
And that's what you want. Actually, social media is like that, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it depends how you use it. I use it for my business, because no one knows if you don't promote yourself that
yeah,
you are doing this, that you're helping adolescents, for example, that
yeah,
you have got this program. How would they know if you don't
right.
tell them?
Exactly. And so, okay, now if you were to share 3 tips with our audience that they've got to remember, I hope you're all writing all of this down out there. I am. What 3 tips would you give aspiring authors if they really are serious about getting into that 3% club?
Don't overthink, just write.
Yes.
Continue writing. Sometimes you will have bad moments. Sometimes you will just leave it completely.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. Pick it up again after 2 weeks, 1 month, it doesn't matter. Continue. Grit is important.
Yes.
Determination is key to success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so so you're going to do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. I love the whole experience. I don't know, I'm getting addicted to it. It's
Yeah,
like,
I bet the buzz that you get out of it. And as you say, I mean, it's a bit often like delivering your first child. If we want to come back again to your image at the first, the first one's the hardest. You don't really know what to expect. You don't really know how it all works. The mold isn't ready for it, etc. And after that, it's just a question of making it better and better, and trying, as you said, different avenues. That the next book, you might be happy going for the self-publishing route, and then you can choose from the two.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's so much topics that you can actually share with people,
Yeah, indeed.
and yeah, there's a lot here. I loved it. I love the whole experience.
Well, I mean, you've certainly motivated me. Thank you very much, Hulya, for sharing with us today. I shall repeat again. So we've been speaking to Hulya Kurt, author of Break Free from Your Hamster Wheel. Hulya's been sharing a huge amount of tips, practical mindset, the just do it. helping, having a published book helps you stand out in a noisy digital space, making it easier, as we were saying, for people to identify you as an expert. One thing that I've certainly taken from here as well is get the support that you need. And indeed, for those of you who are finding it hard to start, or who would, like to be accompanied on this journey, we have all of this knowledge in-house. So indeed, contact Dawn, via our website, and then she can see about, these projects that she runs with Ruby, where you're literally accompanied. You have accountancy, you have to give in your words, and you're sure in this way to make it happen. Thank you very much, Hulya. Good luck already with the next book. And yes, who knows, come back and promote your next one as well. Thank you.
I will do. Thank you so much, Judy, for the opportunity.
Good luck, all of you. Let's make it happen. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.